Hello and Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Insha Freelancing Well and I am a student at Rehan School Lahore campus. Today I am going to conduct interview with guests. So आज हमारे साथ मौजूद है Maya. So let's start.
Hey there.
Hi Maya. Hi Maya, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How are things going with you?
What is conception?
Concepción. It's
What
a
is
word with
conception?
two. Got it. Concepción. Depending on the context, it usually means one of two things. It can be the biological start of a pregnancy, or it can be the moment an idea is first formed in your mind. Which one were you thinking about?
What does is mean to be our?
That's a bit of a puzzle. I'm not quite sure I follow. Could you tell me a little more about what you mean by to be our?
Okay, my next question. Why is awareness important?
That's a deep one. I think awareness is basically the difference between just existing and actually living. When you're aware, you start noticing the small things, like how you're feeling in a moment or how someone else is reacting. And that's usually where the real growth happens. It's like turning the lights on in a room you've been sitting in for years.
Okay, how do we know we are weak?
That is the $1,000,000 question. I think we rarely know things in a perfect way. Most of the time, we're just operating on a mix of what we can see, what we've been told, and that gut feeling that tells us something is true. It's kind of a leap of faith every time we decide we're sure about something.
Okay, my next question is uh, can animals be insects?
Wait, sorry. I think I might have misheard you. Did you mean can animals become aware?
Okay,
I'll
do
take that as a yes. I think
okay do
it's. I'm listening.
do babies have conceptions? Conceptions.
Oh, they definitely do. Even before they're born, babies are constantly moving and stretching in the womb. Those little muscle contractions are how they develop strength and get their bodies ready for the world.
Okay, my next question is how do
I'm all
people
ears.
learn about the world?
It's kind of a lifelong project, isn't it? I think it starts with that raw curiosity kids have, just touching everything and asking why 1,000 times a day. But as we get older, it becomes more about the patterns we notice and the mistakes we make. For me, the most interesting part is how much we learn just by watching other people, the things they don't even realize they're teaching us.
Okay, my next question is what helps us understand our feeling?
It's a tough one because feelings aren't always logical. I think a lot of it comes down to just giving yourself permission to feel the thing without trying to fix it immediately. Once you can name it, like I'm not actually angry, I'm just overwhelmed, it usually starts to feel a lot more manageable. Do you have a way of figuring out what's going on inside when things get complicated?
Okay, my next question, why do people think different?
Because it would be pretty boring if we didn't, right? I think it's a mix of everything, the way our brains are wired, the places we've been, and the stuff we've gone through. Two people can look at the exact same sunset, and one sees a beautiful end to the day while the other sees a reminder of something they missed. It's like we're all painting the same picture but using completely different colors.
Can our truth
Can our
change our time?
can our truth change our time? That's a fascinating way to put it. I think if you mean time, as in how we actually experience it, then Absolutely. When you find a truth that finally clicks for you, it can make years of confusion feel like a split second or make a single moment feel like it lasts forever. Doesn't change the clock, but it definitely changes the journey.
Okay, my next question: between what is the difference between thinking and feeling?
I like to think of it as the difference between a map and the actual weather. Thinking is like the map, it's logical, it tries to organize things, and it looks for a route. Feeling is more like the weather, it's just there, it's visceral, and you can't really argue with a rainstorm. One is about analyzing the world, and the other is about experiencing it. I'm so glad that clicked for you. It's a bit like how we navigate life, using the map when we can, but learning to dance in the rain when we have to. I'm listening.
Okay, my next question: why do we ask questions?
I think it's our way of admitting we don't have all the answers. It's like this internal itch to fill in the gaps, whether it's a kid asking why the sky is blue or someone wondering about the meaning of life. Asking a question is basically a signal that you're open to the world changing your.
Next question is: how does the
I'm ready.
brain help us think?
It's basically the most complex electrical grid in existence. You've got billions of neurons firing off signals to each other, creating these massive networks of connections. When you think it's essentially a series of electrical pulses and chemical messages zipping across those gaps. It's wild to think that every memory or idea you've ever had is just a specific pattern of those sparks flying around. Take what out? You've got me curious now. What are you taking out?
Okay, my next question is: how does the gene help us think?
We actually just touched on this. I mentioned those billions of neurons firing signals, but if you want to dive deeper, we could talk about how the brain actually stores those thoughts as memories. Do you want to know how a thought becomes a permanent memory?
Okay, my next question is: can we control our touch?
In what way? Are you talking about the physical sensation or something more like how we reach out to people emotionally?
Okay, my next question is: what is ourself, ours? Uh, um,
I'm not quite catching that. Are you talking about something like self-awareness or maybe taking a step forward in life? Help me out here.
why is self awareness useful?
I think it's basically your internal compass. Without it, you're just reacting to things on autopilot. When you're self aware, you can stop and realize, wait, I'm only snapping at this person because I'm actually tired. And that's usually the moment you get to decide how you actually want to show up in the world.
Okay, my next question: what is self awareness?
Think of it as your ability to step outside of yourself for a second. It's when you can observe your own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors as if you were a third party. Instead of just being angry, you're aware that you are feeling anger. That's essentially the act of becoming the observer of your own life.
Okay, my next question is: how do we make decisions?
It's usually a bit of a tug of war. On one side, you have your logical brain weighing the pros and cons, and on the other, you have your gut feeling or your emotions pulling you in a certain direction. Most of the time, we think we're being purely logical, but a lot of our decisions are actually made by our feelings first, and then our brain just finds a good reason to justify it after the fact.
Okay, my next question: can memes shape how we are? We are.
You're trailing off a bit. I'm right here. Take your time.
Can memes shape why we are?
I think I'm following you. It sounds like you're wondering about the why of it all, like our purpose or the reason we're here. Is that what you're getting at?
Okay. Why do people have dreams?
And that's one of the great mysteries, isn't it? Some people think it's just our brain's way of filing away the day's memories, like a nightly cleanup. Others believe dreams are where we work through the emotions we couldn't quite handle while we were awake. It's almost like a safe space where your mind can experiment with different scenarios without any real world consequences.
Okay, my next question: what can dreams touch us?
That's a poetic way to put it. I think dreams touch us by bringing up feelings that we might be ignoring when we're awake. You can wake up from a dream feeling totally heartbroken or incredibly joyful. And that feeling stays with you for hours, even after you've forgotten the actual plot of the dream. It's like they're a direct line to our subconscious.
Okay, my next question is why do people care?
I'm still here. You were just about to ask something. Take your time. I'm
Why
listening.
do people smile?
On the surface, it's just a way to show we're happy, but it's actually way more than that. It's like a universal social shorthand. A smile tells another person, I'm a friend or I'm safe, without having to say a single word. And the wild part is that it actually works both ways. Even if you're not feeling it, the physical act of smiling can sometimes trick your brain into feeling a little bit better.
Okay, my next question is can we understand other people's feelings?
I think we can, but it's never a perfect mirror. We can get close through empathy, where you recognize a feeling because you felt something similar. But at the end of the day, we're all experiencing things through our own unique lens. So we're always interpreting their feelings based on our own history.
Okay.
You've
Why is it empty?
empty in what way? Are you talking about something around you right now or more of a feeling? I'm not sure. Are you feeling a certain kind of emptiness or is there something specific in your space that feels that way?
Okay, my next question: why is kindness important?
I think kindness is basically the glue that keeps everything from falling apart. It's one of the few things that can completely change someone's day without costing you anything. Plus, there's that ripple effect. One small, decent act usually inspires another, and before you know it, you've shifted the energy of an entire room.
Okay, my next question is uh, how do we learn from mistakes?
It's basically the most honest teacher we have. When things go right, we just assume we're geniuses and keep doing the same thing. But a mistake forces you to stop, look at the gaps in your plan, and actually figure out why something didn't work. It's that friction that actually creates the growth.
Okay, my next question is
I'm ready.
okay, can we improve our thinking?
Oh, absolutely. I think of thinking like a muscle. If you only ever do the same easy movements, it stays the same. But when you challenge yourself to look at a problem from an angle that feels uncomfortable or totally foreign, that's when you're actually leveling up. It's less about working harder and more about staying curious enough to question your own first impressions.
Okay, my next question, do babies have conceptions?
That's an interesting way to ask it. If you mean the biological part, then yes, conception is actually the very first step to the moment that creates the baby in the first place. But if you're asking if babies have concepts like ideas or a sense of how things work, that's a different story. They start forming those very early on just by exploring and noticing patterns in the world around them.
How does why should we listen to others?
Because we're all seeing the world from a different angle. If you only listen to your own thoughts, you're basically just talking to a mirror. Listening to someone else is the only way to find those blind spots in your own thinking and realize there are ways of feeling and existing that you never would have imagined on your own.
Okay, my next question, how does experience change us?
I think that's the magic of it. When you let a new idea or someone else's truth actually sink in, it shifts your internal map. You can't go back to seeing the world the old way once you've realized there's different valid way to feel or think. It changes you because it expands what you think is possible for yourself and other people.
Okay, my next question is um, why do people have
Why?
different opinions?
That's a curious way to put it. I'm wondering if you mean the way people open up emotionally or maybe just how they start a conversation. Either way, I think it comes down to how safe they feel and what they're trying to protect.
Okay, my next question, how do we solve problem?
Usually by breaking the big scary thing into smaller, manageable pieces. If you look at a mountain, it feels impossible to move, but if you just focus on moving one rock at a time, it eventually happens. The real trick is usually figuring out which rock to move first.
Okay, my next question, what does is mean to learn every day?
I think it means staying in a state of permanent curiosity. It's not necessarily about reading a textbook or memorizing facts every single day. It's more about that mindset where you're always looking for the, huh, that's wild moment in the ordinary. Whether it's learning something new about a friend or finally figuring out why a certain plant grows the way it does, it's just keeping your mind open to the possibility that you don't know everything yet.
Okay, my next question, can books change our thinking?
In a huge way. Books are like these portals that let you live 1,000 different lives without ever leaving your room. They put you inside someone else's head, and when you see the world through their eyes, it's almost impossible not to have your own perspective shift a little.
Okay, my next question, how does school help us grow?
I think it's a bit of a mixed bag. On one hand, you've got the academics and the facts, which are useful. But I think the real help comes from the social side, learning how to deal with different personalities, figuring out where you fit in, and discovering how to handle frustration when something doesn't click right away. It's basically a training ground for the real world.
Okay, my next question, what role does family play in learning?
They're basically your first and most important teachers. Long before you ever step into a classroom, you're learning the most fundamental things from your family, like how to trust, how to handle a disagreement, and what it means to be cared for. They provide the baseline for how you interpret the world, so the lessons they teach you usually stick the deepest.
Okay, okay, and
It really is.
my next question is, how do we become more com- confident?
I think the secret is that confidence isn't actually the absence of fear. It's more like the willingness to be bad at something until you're not. Every time you do something that scares you, even if it goes completely wrong, you're proving to yourself that you can handle the outcome. That's where the real confidence grows, in the doing, not in the feeling.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay. Bye,
you s-
Maya. Bye, Maya.
wait already? Wait already? That was quite the deep dive. I loved all
Bye,
the
Maya.
questions.
Bye.
Wait, you're Maya now? I guess that makes me Jaws for the day.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video. Allah Hafiz.